guys, what's up? My name's Jackie, and today we are doing a Percy Jackson book talk. The Percy Jackson series. I just finished the books literally the other day, and so I'm going to try and, I guess, keep this first part spoiler free, and then the second part we can talk about some things. But basically the Percy Jackson series is about a kid finds out he's the son of a Greek god and a regular person, and they have a whole camp for these kids, and it's like a whole thing. I'm doing a bad job of explaining this because I'm trying not to spoil anything, but if you haven't read them, just go pick them up. They're not that long. Look at how short this first book is, and you'll enjoy it so much. I don't care how old you are, they're really fun to read. So let's just start talking because I'm doing a bad job of talking about it without spoilers. So overall, I loved this series. Like I said, I've read this before when I was younger, but I'd never finished the whole thing. So this was the first time I'd actually seen the whole thing come to a close. I felt like it was the perfect ending to the series. Things were not super easy, but it all kind of like came together really well. Also, I'm just gonna start spoiling things soon. So if you haven't read them all, like, I have to talk about it. That's why I'm here. I need someone to talk to about it. So let's just talk about the first one first. The first book, we're learning everything. Percy is 12, 11? 11 or 12. Like he's 11 turning 12, or he just turned 12, something like that. This is kind of his like discovery where he kind of learns who he is, his family is, and kind of has to start making some decisions of what he like wants out of life. I loved this book. I am obviously not 12. You can definitely read these books no matter how old you are. I didn't find that a problem at all. It was so good and so like, I just loved it. So much adventure and fun and excitement. It was just so great. I felt like it was also a really good intro to the series. It didn't give us too much. It didn't leave us hanging. There's lots of mystery. 10 out of 10. So much fun. And then this was like the beginning of the Luke betrayals and stuff. That like makes me sad. I'm spoiling if you didn't already know. Luke actually betrays everyone, and we learn that he's not one of the good guys. And that made me so sad. Like I knew it was coming because like I said, I had read these before. But that just hurt my heart. Oh my god, this was also the sweetest thing. When Percy sends Medusa's head, like leaves it for his mom to get rid of Gabe, who is the nasty smelly guy she has had to be with to mask Percy from all the monsters. I just laughed so hard. I mean, I laughed so much throughout this book and all the books, but I just laughed so hard when I got to this part. Percy's mom didn't really want to, use the Medusa head. She's just a good person, just like Percy, so like they didn't want to do anything bad. Then like a week later, Percy gets a letter that Gabe had mysteriously left, and she called the police and she just never saw him again. And then like he says on like a completely unrelated subject, she sold her first life-size sculpture entitled The Poker Player, and I literally died laughing. It still is really funny. Like it just was so clever, and the way that Percy says it, like as a 12-year-old too, like I just loved it. This was just like, and it was left open with the betrayal of Luke. So great for the second book, The Sea of Monsters. So the border of Camp Half-Blood is dying, and monsters will be able to get in, and the campers will be safe. And his best friend Grover is stuck with a Cyclops, which happens because he was trying to find the god Pan, which he worships. Pan is like the god of the wild. This one I thought was so fun too, and I thought I was going to be really sad that Grover wasn't a main character through the whole thing, and instead we had Percy's brother Tyson, but I fell in love with Tyson. I thought he was such a cute character. I don't know, I just felt okay about Grover not being around for most of the time, I just thought it was fine. And then he did pop up, so I didn't feel like it was completely lacking. I flew through this one. This one I felt was really short. I just had so much fun. And again, there were so many laughs. Percy is just so funny. This book ends with them getting the golden fleece and putting it on the tree to save it so that the border will be okay at Camp Half-Blood, and it works too well and actually brings Thalia, Zeus's daughter, back to life. And that's where we leave off in this book, which was a crazy ending. I didn't remember it, and then I didn't see it coming at all. When I started to realize, I was like, oh my god, Percy, like, you don't understand. That's Zeus's daughter. She could be the one of the prophecy. And I was just like, like it was just so crazy. It was so good. So the third book, also the last one was the big fight with Ares. I can't believe I didn't mention that. That was crazy. Anyway, the Titan's Curse, there was the fight with the Nemean, I don't know how to say it, but the lion thing where Percy ends up getting the coat, which I thought was so cool, and I wish he could have kept it for longer because like it made him almost invincible. He like would have died like 5 times if he wasn't wearing it. And we have the skeleton warriors, and then the D'Angelo twins are introduced in this book, and the hunters. We just get a lot, like it's an information overload. It's a lot of information in this book, but in a good way. Like I really enjoyed all the new information, and I always love whenever we learn more about a new god or about a new aspect of Greek mythology, because I just love Greek mythology, and the gods like fascinate me. I can't wait to know more about them, and I think the series The Trials of Apollo. So I hope we get to know more about the gods, and I'm sure we'll know more about Apollo specifically in that series. But also Apollo is in this one, like with Artemis. I hope I'm not mixing up the books. I read them all so fast, it's hard for me to distinguish what was in what book. But Apollo is so funny. It made me so excited for his series, and like he seems like such a show-off, and he's handsome and cool and smart, but like funny, goofy. I don't know, he just seems like a really cool guy, and I can't wait to learn more about his story. Specifically. So I'm definitely going to read those. I just don't know when. I think one of the most important things was this is where Nico's grudge for Percy kind of began. Spoiler for the rest of the series. I was surprised that that wasn't more of an issue. Like I was so proud of Nico for growing as a person and really seeing his faults and learning from his sister. I just thought it was so impressive how Nico grew and like didn't make it a big thing, but not in this book. He was extremely mad. Granted, he is younger than Percy. Percy's like 14 or something by now, and Nico's only 11 or 12, so it's like I give him credit, but it was really sad when they were turning against each other, when Percy already felt this guilt for Bianca's death, which is why obviously Nico is mad about it. I don't know if it wasn't obvious, but all of these books for me get 5 out of 5 stars for sure, and you can see that on Goodreads too if you click my Goodreads link, we can be friends. And the 4th book is the Battle of the Labyrinth. This is where Percy is like, I think 14. And this is where we meet Rachel Elizabeth Dare, who, spoiler for the end, turns out to be the new Oracle, which I didn't see coming at first, and then I totally saw coming, so kudos to me, because sometimes I get totally tricked. And I just thought she was so cool, but like, come on, she had no chance against Annabeth. There was no chance. Obviously, Percy has always liked Annabeth, like you've known this whole time, and you see how like he never wants to make her upset, and it's just so cute. Like I just love their little thing. But we had to have something happen, like someone come in, and it was so funny seeing Annabeth get so jealous and crazy, and I was like, Annabeth, stop being mean. If you're just a jerk, like that's not gonna help anything. But she's not taking anything, let me tell you. This was such a good one. The Labyrinth was so fun and interesting, and Annabeth finally got her quest, which was very satisfying. We're all waiting for it to happen. But this book totally got me. I did not even think the guy at camp, who was just an old half-blood, was going to end up being Daedalus. Like, that totally had me fooled. I was so tricked, but it was really cool, and it totally made sense. I just was, like, so blind. Percy ends up with Calypso, which was such a heartbreaking story because it was something that him and her would have to live with forever. That was just such a good twist, and, like, I didn't understand it at all. I didn't know that myth, and it was just, oh. And then this book ends with Nico. He says he has an idea, like, this is the only way we can save Olympus, and it seems like it's a bad plan, like whatever it is not a good idea or scary in some way. That was a crazy ending. I was like, what's the idea? Someone tell me. But luckily, I had the next book with me. And the conclusion to the Percy Jackson series is The Last Olympian, which that was pretty hard to read. Not hard to read as in bad, hard to read as in I was so excited to be getting to the end, but also so sad because I was so attached to the characters and I just didn't want it to be over. But that opener where Beckendorf and Percy go on the ship to blow up like Luke's cruise ship to slow down the army of Kronos, and Beckendorf doesn't make it off, and Kronos knew somehow and it was the spy. Like, that just made me so sad. He was looking at his picture of Selena, like, before he left, because he's like, I'm coming home to you, like, because they were dating. Like, ow, that, like, hurt my heart so bad. It was great, but man, that hurt. And then, spoiler, to find out at the end that Kronos' spy is Selena. Like, I knew it was going to be a girl because it seemed like such a delicate jewelry type thing. Not that guys can't have that, but it just seemed like that's what it was hinting at. But I never expected it to be Selena, especially because I felt like she would be kicking herself so much more if she was the reason that Beckendorf died. And obviously she was, but like, Nico said that Beckendorf told him he's waiting there for someone before he tries for Elysium. Like, oh my gosh, that hurt my heart so bad. It made me really, like, upset. Like, I'm upset about it now. Anyway, it was a really good like addition. I love when they add in side characters and make them a little more important. And Grover ends up getting power in this book, which was so great because he literally has been the only one like making things good for the satyrs, fighting for like what is actually right. Like he saw Pan, like no one believed him. All the elders were like against him. He really deserved to like have the power and have some recognition. So that just made me happy. And then just all the half-bloods dying, and then when Selena actually died, they were like, she was a hero, there's no question, because she was a hero. She saw like they needed help, she gave her life for it. A lot of half-bloods died, and it made me really sad. And then, you know, Rachel becomes the Oracle, and Percy's like, oh my god, no, because he thinks she's gonna go crazy like Luke's mom, but she is able to accept it, which I thought was great. Obviously, I didn't want Rachel to die. Oh my gosh. Who else was like Annabeth? Like, let's have a little perspective here. When Rachel's the Oracle and everything's okay, and she's like, so, Rachel's the Oracle, so she's not going to be dating anyone, right? She could have just died, everyone almost just died, and you're like, so you're not going to date her, right, Percy? Like, obviously he's not going to. Relax. And it was just so sweet when Percy was like, honestly, it's so crazy how the world is, like, ending, and all I care about is that Annabeth's okay. And Percy turns down immortality. He could have been a god, but, I mean, it made sense. There's no way he was going to do that. Like, he wants to grow up. He wants to go do things with his friends. Like, he was not going to do that. He was looking back at Annabeth and how she seemed like she was going to freak out, like, when he was going to freak out, when she was going to join the Hunters. It was just so full circle, so made sense. It was so cute. Such a good ending to the series. Like, it ended so well. Oh, and then leaving off with Rachel's prophecy. I already know that there's the Heroes of Olympus series. I mean, I think it's going to be about them. Maybe that has nothing to do with it. But hopefully that is what that's leading to. And I'm really excited to read that series. Like, I want to get that as soon as possible. This whole series was perfect too because it ends with him and Annabeth making their plans for the future. It's so perfect because when he's leaving camp, it says something like, he left camp and for the first time he didn't look back. Oh, he's grown so much, and he has Annabeth. Also, I just want to show you guys really quick the Grecian Urn laid out, like how the pictures from the edition that I got actually makes one long big picture of Percy's journey as a hero. So just to show you guys, this is what it looks like laid out as a full picture, and I love it. I think it's so cool. Here, let me go out a little bit. Oh, that just looks so awesome, you guys. Like, you have to get these editions. Like, look how cool that is. Such a good idea. Oh, I love it. That's it for this video. That's it for this series. I loved them so much. It made me so happy. You definitely should read them. If you haven't read them and you watch this video, you got a lot of spoilers, but read them anyway because they're still really fun. I knew the first, like, 3 books or something, and I had a great time. But yeah, that's it. Please leave comments if there's anything I didn't talk about that you were like, oh my gosh, Jackie, what about this? Or if you just want to talk about anything or the new series or whatever, just leave a comment, let me know, let's talk about it, give this video a thumbs up, and subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.